Okay, let's say you own a beachfront home in Rodanthe you're trying to sell, and the house 3 doors down just collapsed in the ocean. And you're probably thinking the value of your property just fell off a cliff. Not necessarily so. Investigative reporter Chris Horn traveled to the Outer Banks to find out how homes keep selling there. Chris?
Yeah, it seems to defy logic, Tom. Homes collapsing into the waves, surf carving away the beach. You don't even need a major hurricane on the Outer Banks. Stronger, more frequent storms and nor'easters can do the dirty work. But a sea of cash has investors defying the tide. When buyers look at homes on the Outer Banks, can they clearly see what can happen? Are they taking a flyer on a prized property or a pitfall? As realtor Nalene Gibbs is quick to point out,
everybody wants to see the water.
And the skeletons of former seaside property aren't enough to scare away buyers. Gibbs says Rodanthe real estate is resilient because once you invest, the money, like the tide, will return.
If you spend $1 million on a 7-bedroom house and you can rent it for $180,000 a year, you do the math. And it's going to pay for itself pretty fast.
And who's awash in that much cash? More people than you might think.
It's amazing how many of them are doing cash. We get a lot of cash buyers. I would say maybe 50% are cash buyers.
Instead of losing value because of beach erosion and stronger and more frequent storms, sale prices have risen. According to Gibbs, they're up 10% from last year in Rodanthe for an average sale price of about $670,000. Right on the ocean nearby, this home could bring close to $250,000 a year in rentals. No guarantee, though, it'll continue.
You're always taking a chance on that investment.
Reports out of the Northeast say seaside property is losing value there. When those numbers go south, so do the buyers.
We have had a tremendous amount of New York, New Jersey buyers, and they come down here and they think for $1 million or $2 million, they can get something where they can see the ocean.
Gibbs says nothing could drown the Outer Banks market. Well, virtually nothing.
You know, a Cat 5 to wipe the whole place out. I mean, you know, that might be it.
And even if it did,
as soon as it receded, I think they'd be back there rebuilding because there was very resilient people that have been here since, 1800s or longer.
Another local real estate market that suffers major effects from storms, but in a different way, is the Ghent section in Norfolk. I'll have that part of the story coming up at 6:30 over on Fox 43. See why there's a difference in Ghent when it comes to reputation versus reality. Chris Horn, 10 on your side.
Tonight we're talking real estate. Earlier at 6 on Wavy TV 10, we showed you how the market on the Outer Banks remains strong despite the effects of climate change. The Norfolk market has its own specific set of environmental challenges. Investigative reporter Chris Horn has more on whether it can continue to weather the storms.
Yeah, Amy, in a section of Norfolk known for flooded streets and rising rain gauges, I wanted to take measure of the housing market. Do buyers stay on course and buy there anyway, or make a 180? An expert says don't believe everything you've heard. Norfolk is sinking, and when the rain starts falling, the water starts rising, especially in Ghent and The Hague. Realtor Alexandra Serrano says that seeps directly into the psyche of homebuyers.
Their biggest concern is the flooding.
And what that flooding would cost now and in the future.
What that would impact on their monthly payment with their insurance premiums and the damages that it could cause to their personal property.
But Serrano says the neighborhood's flood-prone reputation and reality don't always flow in the same direction.
And I think it's been associated more with knowing that it floods versus the actual aftermath of the flooding.
She's listing this house on Langley Road for $600,000. And because it's in West Ghent, it's been on the market longer than she would have liked. Serrano says this house has never had flood damage. A recent real estate map of Ghent shows 38 properties. 9 are for sale. 29 are either under contract or have already sold this year. But Serrano points out only 3 of the 38 require flood insurance.
A lot of that is a misconception that the buyers have, because if you look at the data and the research, there really isn't much flood insurance required in this area.
Even if some of Ghent's reputation is unfair, it's not stopping sellers from asking big bucks. Most of the properties on this map are listed at $500,000 or more, with one of them having already sold this year at $1.7 million. The market here is defying the tide because it remains convenient to hospitals, downtown offices, entertainment, and nightlife. Serrano suggests that buyers have an elevation survey done. It can end up saving hundreds of dollars a year in insurance costs. Plus, FEMA offers grants through the city of Norfolk for flood mitigation assistance. We have a link and all the details on wavy.com. Chris Horn, 10 on your side.